Hey, Doug here with Hope 360. Hey, I'm doing another video here on how to heal and recover from divorce. So, how to start your road to recovery after you've been divorced. Well, the first thing I want to share with you is what I'm going to share with you. Actually, 3 points in this video. So the first thing to do is here's what not to do. Here's not the direction to go when you're trying to recover from divorce. In an earlier video, I said divorce is painful, it's hurtful, and it's emotional, and it leaves scars, and it's tough. So here's what not to do. Don't turn to alcohol. Don't turn to drugs. Don't turn to immersing yourself really in any one area to avoid the emotional pain that you're going through. You need to deal with the pain head on. And it's not as hard as you think. Many people like myself have been through this. We got through it. If I do it, you can do it. So don't submerge yourself into work. Don't go out and submerge yourself into shopping and spending lots of money. Although I know that's fun for people. Don't immerse yourself in over-accessing on the internet and trolling people or just scrolling on the internet for hours. It ends up depressing you. Don't end up excessively playing video games. None of that. You need to You need to address this head on. So the other thing not to do under that category is don't date. I would not date for a couple years. I know some people don't want to hear that, but premature dating and getting into relationships, that's a recipe for disaster. When you date, it's at that early stage, it's more about smoothing over your hurts and not really getting to the root of them. And it's more about rescuing you. You probably want somebody, you're lonely, you probably want somebody to rescue you. You want those feelings of that somebody cares about you. It's filling a void, and it can be a selfish validation, because when that relationship doesn't work out, that person now is injured too, or wounded on the other end of it. It's kind of like if you prematurely date, it's kind of like, this is an analogy that popped into my mind. Say you crash your car into a tree. When you're trying to, and that's the divorce, say the car crashes, the divorce. You're trying to pick up all the pieces of the car and you're trying to put it back together. And so you're like, oh, here's my fender and here's my headlight and here's the hood, of the car. Well, if two cars crash into each other, now you're trying to sort out whose headlight that is, whose hood that is, and all these different pieces. Whose radiator is that? Whose engine's that? If it's a really bad car crash, and it's like a divorce, they're really usually bad. So you're now trying to sort out your feelings as far as, is this from this relationship or is it a past wound? And it just makes it more complicated, if that makes sense. Hey, if this video is giving you value, if it's making any sense to you, would you do me a favor? Like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm. It helps other people find these videos. And comment if you like it, if you hate it, or what have you as well. Okay, second point on how to start your road to recovery is discover mile markers of progress in your journey. There's nothing, I shouldn't say there's nothing, but it's a good way to discover, hey, I've got past this mile marker. Like, hey, I didn't want to see my ex-spouse. I saw them. It actually went well. I didn't freak out or, whatever. Write those things down, journal those things, and if you look back on your road to recovery, it's encouraging to say, oh, yeah, you kind of forget about it in your mind, especially when you're going through a divorce, because your head is just full of a lot of emotions and feelings. So if you write these things down, you can look back on them and remember them and say, oh my goodness, yeah, I got through that, or I got through the first holiday, or what have you. And then too, here's some other things you can write down too, is like, there's one day you're going to wake up and be like, I haven't thought about my ex today. I haven't obsessed over them. Am I okay with his or her success? You're praying for them. That's a good way to get over people. Even if you don't feel like it, do it anyway. It says in the Bible to pray for people. If you stop comparing yourself to that person. So third way on your road to recovery from divorce is to trust in God for your recovery. That's what I did, and that is what I say is my number one thing on how I am and did get through my divorce. First of all, God created you. He created you to be just special. He created you to be one of a kind. He knows all the hairs on your head, and he loves you more than anybody in the world. Anyone does. Also, you're not facing your struggles alone. He is with you. Sorry, there's a car beside me here. I'm wondering what they want. Anyway, he is with you, and he loves you, like I said, more than anyone in the universe. He wants you to face your struggles with him, and he wants you to run to him. In Exodus 33:14, it says, "The Lord replied, 'My presence will go with you, and I give you rest.'" And then in Isaiah 26:3 says, You will keep in perfect peace with those minds are steadfast because they trust God." Hey, thanks again for watching. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.